Yes, yes. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Liverpool host Tottenham in the Premier League. It's the top of the table clash, a game that's going to get the juices flowing and one we have all been waiting for. And to add an extra spark, an extra piece of incentive, Chelsea, the third of the three-horse race, reportedly by the media in this title race, of course, lost this evening to Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-1 after being 1-0 in front. The Premier League is wide open. Very, very wide indeed. It's going to be an amazing Christmas period. And I think we're in for one of the most exciting, spellbinding, gut-wrenching, goosebump-generating seasons that we have ever had in the Premier League. Here to preview Tottenham's visit to Liverpool, what's going to happen, what's going to go on, lineups, etc., etc., etc. We're going to have a bit of fun as well with a different kind of tiering system tonight. We're going to have a look at this here. It's pick or drop, and it's Liverpool players going up against Tottenham players head to head, as you can see. And it's whether you want to pick or drop. You, the audience, are going to get to decide that the panel are going to debate it. You, the audience, get to decide. Same super chat rules apply as ever. You can move someone up and down for £5. You can move someone permanently for 20. If you want to create a new tier, you can, but it's not really on the offense tonight, but it's completely and utterly up to you. We're going to get the panel involved now as well. If you like that tiering system, great. If you want to go back to the old tiering system, let us know. We're going to fluctuate between the two when it comes to these here. We've got a good panel tonight here, everybody. We've got man like Josh. We've got man like Ram with the peacock feathers and my guy Stro in the house. Gents, how are we all?
Yeah, good, man.
Good. Big game tonight. Who's feeling nervous?
I feel like it's almost a free hit, to be honest, just because I think we've got such a poor record there. I'm not on the nerves haven't kicked in.
Yeah, I understand that. Liverpool, your record at home. So your record. I'm getting a bit of feedback from someone. Then I'm not sure where it's coming from. We'll see if it might have been Stroh's. Your record at Anfield is amazing. There is that sort of thought that at some point that's going to come to an end. Do you think it's going to be tomorrow against this Jose Mourinho Tottenham team? I'm going to go to Stroh first on that one, please.
Possibly. And the reason I say possibly is because of our centre-back situation. Matip went off injured. And then it's Harry Kane. And the form that he's in this season, him and Son have been phenomenal since the start of the season. It does concern me that Fabinho is our only fit centre-back, and he's not even a centre-back, he's a defensive midfielder, but he's been great since he's gone there. That's my big concern about tomorrow's game is Matip's not fit, is who do we put there? Because if it's Phillips, he's shown great potential, but Kane's just going to use his experience, he's just going to bully him. I don't really fancy Henderson there. So that's my big concern is who goes at centre-back in. Listen, Mourinho's done it before at Anfield. He's come to spoil the party. Did it in 13-14. There's just something about this game which makes me slightly apprehensive.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And I think it's right to be. When it comes to any Jose Mourinho team, I think it's suicidal to write them off. I think it's a crazy notion to have. Ram, from your perspective, I mean, this is one of those games where I think if you win, it could put any, you've still got doubters out there that think Liverpool are not going to win the league. Do you think this could end up being kind of the situation that shuts that all down? Beating Tottenham, did it shut the doubters up essentially?
For sure. This is top of the league 6-point battle, and if we win, it's a massive statement to everyone saying, even with our injuries, we're going to be fighting. We're going to be fighting until the end. And I mean, the last couple of months, if it's not proven, if other fans aren't convinced, this is the game to really prove it to them and really stick it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And Josh, from your point of view, I mean, as you say, it's a bit of a free hit. Most people you speak to are making Liverpool favourites for this game by a long way. I saw a man like Rance and a few other sort of rival fans talking about how you guys have sort of shithoused your way to the top of the league. You're not really deserving of it. But could this be one of those moments for you, though, where get the victory at Anfield at this moment, already being top of the league, you think maybe then people will start to take you more seriously? Because everyone's, I mean, even a gal comes on after every Tottenham game and writes you off as charlatans. Would you like just to win this game to shut everybody up?
Yeah, 100%. But do you know what the funny thing is? You're right. It will shut the rivals up. And it may make people stop and look at Tottenham, but it also, I think, will give our own fans some confidence, because all of my mates, all of my Tottenham boys, they're like, no one's really, even though we're top of the table, no one's really thinking, oh, we're going to go on and win it. It's not like if, Liverpool are in this position or City are in this position or something. No one's really believing at the moment. If we go to Anfield and win, I'll start believing. I will start saying that I think we're going to win the league, because it'll be like a watershed moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, this team, it means so. Honestly, this is the biggest game of our season for us, I think, because I know it's a bit early in the season to be saying that, but it's also, you've got the Champions League final thing, like a little bit of revenge. Liverpool, they play us off the park most games. I think that there's only one game in my lifetime that I remember us, doing them, which was at Wembley, the 4-1, I think it was. There's no other game that I can remember us actually outplaying them, even if we have nicked to win a couple of times in the past. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. Mate. And it's, as you say, it's about laying that marker down and giving yourselves belief. And I actually think anything other than a bad defeat will do that for you. A draw, even a close victory, I think will show people that you're not to be kind of trifled with, if that makes sense. I think too many people, in my opinion, are sleeping, are fast asleep when it comes to Tottenham, and I think that's really unfair. I also think it's a little bit stupid as well, because I'm just looking at your squad now, and you mentioned Son and Harry Kane. Basically, a lot of what I read is, yeah, well, I'm writing Tottenham off because at some point those two are getting injured. So I'm thinking you're basing your whole belief around Tottenham not winning the league on the hope that two players get injured. Firstly, that's a little bit sick. Secondly, that's a whim. That isn't that's not a logical thought process. That's a whim, if that makes sense. When it comes to Liverpool, though, boys, from your point of view, what do you need to do in this game to ensure you get the better of this Tottenham and Jose Mourinho team? I'll go to Stroh first on this.
Do what we do in most of the big games at home, is be on the front foot, be aggressive. The thing about Liverpool under Klopp, especially in the past 2 years, is we can win in multiple different ways. We can keep hold of the ball. We can go for the jugular early on. We've seen it. You've seen what we've done to the likes of Arsenal in the past. You've seen what we've done to the likes of Wolves in recent weeks. Is we can kill games off early. We need to have that tempo. That's one thing which at times this season it has lacked. Is at times we're coming out and we're starting really, really slow. Fulham game's a prime example of that. Liverpool at their best is when we're right from minute one. And to be honest, I think this kind of game, this is where, for me, although we get ridiculous amounts of criticism, and I can understand it because he's not everyone's cup of tea, this is where the leadership of Henderson really needs to come in. Because last season in these kind of games, he was so vocal. He was leading the team. He sets the example and he sets the tempo early on, whether it's a tackle, whether it's a pass, but we just need that spark early on. And yeah, we really need to go for the jugular early on, because listen, they've got Eric Dyer at the back. I'd like to fancy Kane. I'd like to fancy obviously Salah, Mane, just completely trying to expose him 1v1, especially Firmino's dropping into positions and Dyer's questioning whether he goes with him or not. And I need to see something from Firmino in this game. I have to. This is a big game. It's far too big. Like you said, like Josh said, it's probably Tottenham's biggest game of the season. This is our biggest game of the season yet, because if we lose to Tottenham, not only does that give them no momentum, it puts us in a bit of a bad position, because we've not been playing great recently. And for us, we can't afford to lose this game.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more. I think you're absolutely right. We've got a few more guests to throw in here as well. I was a bit late getting the link out because you have a show overrun. We've got man like James, Redmond TV in the house, and O'Shea with us as well. What's going on, gentlemen?
Yo. What's going on, boys? You all right? Teddy, I just want to let you know, my audio's just a bit funny and it'll fix itself in about 30 seconds, okay? That's just what my phone does. It's weird, mate. Sorry about that, boys.
No worries, mate. No problem at all. I listen, bro. I saw your little bit with Rance the other day. you guys in the Henderson conversation. And I was about to bring that up. A lot of people in the comments are saying Højbjerg versus Henderson. Ndombele is going to school Henderson. Are you Liverpool guys? Are you Liverpool fans a little bit sick and tired of the disrespect that Jordan Henderson gets from the footballing world?
It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
definitely. I think it's just like Stroke just said, the perfect word. It's ridiculous. I think you can't judge a player based off of what they used to be. And look, a lot of Liverpool fans, including myself, gave Jordan Henderson a lot of stick. I said for years, man, this guy needs to leave. But he's stepped up and he's won the hearts over many Liverpool fans, including myself. He's captained us to a Premier League and a Champions League. Like, look, I'll never compare him to Gerrard, because Gerrard is, for me, the greatest Liverpool player of all time. But he's done the one thing Gerrard never did. He's captained us to a Premier League title. And he wasn't just some random player that happened to be at a team that won these trophies. He was one of the most influential and important players in that system that won us those trophies. We've seen, against Atletico, when Jordan Henderson doesn't play, it affects us massively, and he does so much off the ball and on the ball and off the pitch as a captain. The way he covers Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. He does so much as a player and as a captain. I just think it's ridiculous, because his name isn't something fancy. He hasn't got a foreign special Spanish name, and because he doesn't do amazing skills on the pitch and he doesn't do fancy things, people write him off, and I just think it's ridiculous.
No, but here's the thing which winds me up more than anything. You look at the Premier League teams and the Premier League midfield across the league. So you look at, for example, on Manchester City last season, the one thing that they lacked was leadership. They lost company and they were nowhere to be seen. You put Jordan Henderson in there somehow, they've got a bit of fight about him, because the thing about Jordan Henderson is when you come to Liverpool, when you see these big, like, notorious captains, the Vieiras, the Keanes, the companies of this world, is when you step onto that training field as a new signing, as a youngster, as a youth player, they set the example. This is what you need to do. You need to match this example. And if it's not good enough, you're going to get pulled on it. And I'm going to tell you it's not good enough. I've seen so many times in games, Van Dijk's done something sloppy, Trent done something sloppy, and Henderson's on them straight away. You need that kind of leadership. You can't buy that kind of mentality. This man was written off from other managers that he was going to be sold as part of the Clint Dempsey deal, and look at the turnaround that this man's had. You can't buy that kind of mentality. You can't buy that kind of leadership. And for me, write him off all you want. I understand that he might not be technically the most gifted midfielder in the Premier League, but I can guarantee if push came to shove, a lot of Premier League teams could do with Jordan Henderson in their midfield, purely down to the leadership aspect.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Like, I've always bantered him, but you got to give credit where credit's due. A manager of Jurgen Klopp's ilk doesn't continue to play you, doesn't build a team that you captain and lead if there isn't something there. And when people often talk about, I hear some people say like Sir Alex Ferguson is the greatest football manager of all time, but then continually write off players that he's stuck by for 15 years as being overrated. It's like, Ryan Giggs overrated. I'm like, so you think the greatest manager of all time continue to play a guy for 15 to 20 years because he was overrated? Like, the logic doesn't make sense with a lot of this. And I think people have got to wise up when it comes to that. I want to go to the only Tottenham fan we have on this preview. We got let down by a few people. Good to it. I help represent Tottenham a little bit. What do you have to do to get a result? What against Liverpool? What has Jose and your team got to get right to go out there and bring some points back to White Hart Lane?
I think that we have to mix it up a bit. Liverpool are too good to say we nick an early goal or something like that. We can't sit on it for the whole game. We have to have spells where we control the ball. We have to get our best players on the ball. Kane and Ndombele, Lo Celso if he has a stint in, because there's rumours that he might start with Ndombele. We have to get our best passers of the ball on the ball and control the game for periods, because what would work against someone, a team like Arsenal, where you can just sit off them and just say, go on, try and attack us, like you're not going to break us down. That won't work against Liverpool. Teams have been doing this to Liverpool for 3 years, and they, continue to break them down. Every team tries to play a low block against them. So even though that's our speciality at the moment, and the one thing we have that other teams don't, that they're facing, is absolute world-class clinical forwards. So we are suited to that game style. We still need to have a couple of spells. We need to have 20-minute spells where we are controlling the game, because we will crumble eventually, I think.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you on that. And James, I don't a bit late coming, just my fault, nobody else's. Are you confident going into tomorrow's game? You know, you drop points to Fulham, which is unexpected. Your away form has been pretty sketchy so far this season. Well, fairly sketchy so far this season. But at home, you're so dominant. You must be sort of going into this thinking, barring any mistakes from us, it's game, set, match.
To be honest with you, you asked me if I'm confident about the game against Tottenham, and to be honest with you, I think as confident as a Liverpool fan can be under the current circumstances, I still believe we can beat anyone. I do, and that's not me underestimating Tottenham. That's just what Liverpool give me. That's what Liverpool feed me in terms of confidence. And even in this game, don't get me wrong, Jose Mourinho has well exceeded my expectations of Tottenham this season. And with the group of players that he's got and the way that he's got them working together without trying to blow smoke, he's done a great job. That being said, Jurgen Klopp is great at adapting, and this is at Anfield, and it is being proven that when it is at Anfield, it is a different story. It is one of them. It's one of them occasions, especially now with fans back, and it was heavily demonstrated against Wolves that it's a different level. The players just have a different energy around them, and even in this game against Jose Mourinho, the fans are going to be up for it. You know that this is a big game, and also one thing that the advantage that we have over Tottenham, I feel, is Tottenham have been a team, even though they've been in title races, the squad has changed to the point where now it's a different 11. And even though they kind of know, Liverpool players know what it's like to be in a title race and be in one so close that a game, even in January or December, can decide the race. Let's go back to the last title race Liverpool had and didn't win against Manchester City. Literally 8 millimetres. 8 millimetres was what pretty much decided that title race. Now the Liverpool players know every game is massive. And you mentioned the point there. Fulham, we massively bottled it. Last game of the weekend, we need to go out and make a statement. You've got to forget about all these injuries for a moment, and you've just got to clock on. Like, we're still going for the title. We've still got ourselves in this position, and we bottled it against Fulham, which has made this game all the more a must-win. And I think the players will know that, and that is why I think the players will be fired up. So that's why I'm confident.
And I think that's fair, to be honest with you. And when it comes to the title race, we Chelsea fans, we literally, that's why we were late. We were doing the match review show for their humbling defeat tonight. And you got a few of the Chelsea boys saying that they think that's where Chelsea will come unstuck this year. Lampard's inexperience as a manager in this situation. I think Spurs could be the other way around. I think they're certainly in a title race. I think things will be closer this year. I think that there isn't enough gaps between games teams to not drop points. I mean, when you look at it mathematically, Liverpool are 30% worse on points total right now as compared to last year, which is an almighty drop. But I think with your injuries, and then as we say, there hasn't been a rest. There's literally 2 games a week every week. Everybody's going to drop points this year. I think Spurs will stay there or thereabouts. Whether they can tip Liverpool to the league, it's the mentality element, which we just don't know. Jose's got it. It's whether or not he can instill that in all of this squad this time round, and that's where the jury is out as far as I'm concerned. We've got a super chat here from the universal boss Jurgen Klopp, who says Hendo will go down in history with Liverpool's great captains like Emlyn Hughes, Phil Thompson, Souness, Alan Hansen, and Steven Gerrard. Do you agree? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, man. That's 100% right. 100% correct.
Definitely.
How can he not? He's one of the, this is one of the most impressive parts of their history right now. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
So they have to,
exactly,
in my opinion, anyway.
It's crazy the disrespect that he gets.
Go on.
I was just going to say, it's like, I've even been speaking to other football fans over the past week about Jordan Henderson, and it's crazy the disrespect that he gets. I mean, people just think that he's just a passion merchant. He's not just a passion merchant. Don't get me wrong. His mentality and his leadership qualities that he has on the pitch is what gets him over the line, in my opinion, to be a world-class player. It's not just ability. You look at Vincent Kompany, don't get me wrong, he was a world-class centre-back as well, so it's not the greatest thing. But I think people even underestimate Henderson's football ability, but it's the captain that gets you over the line and wins you those trophies. A comparison was made the other day. It was Henderson and Pogba, and I was saying Henderson has been easily more world-class than Pogba over the past couple of years. You can talk about overall, but mate, over the past couple of years, there's no comparison, purely based on the fact Henderson has been turning up on the pitch. And the people who give the arguments, but would he do it in a Bayern Munich? Would he do? No, that's a stupid argument. He's doing it in the Liverpool team, no matter why, no matter who, because of, whether it's Klopp or whatnot, he's still doing it, and that's what's going to go down in history, and that's why he's my captain, and that's why he deserves to have more recognition from neutral fans.
The one thing I don't like is when fans say exactly what you've just said there is when fans say, oh, would he do it at this club? Would he do it at that club? And that annoys me because at the end of the day, he's not at that club. He's not at Real Madrid. He's not at Bayern Munich. He's at Liverpool and he's doing it at Liverpool. You know, Salah didn't do it at Chelsea. Comes to Liverpool, scores 34 league goals in his first season. So people that say, oh, would Henderson do it here, there, it doesn't matter. He's doing it at Liverpool. And for anyone that has any questions about Henderson or whether he'll go down as a Liverpool legend, I just say one thing. He captained us to a Premier League and a Champions League. And at the end of the day, that alone, he could retire tomorrow. And he's a Liverpool legend in my eyes. And it's as simple as that. He's one of the great captains. And it doesn't get any simpler than that. And I don't want to start making statements like statues and stuff like that, because we know we only reserve that for the best of the best. But he's close to being that level where I'll say in 10 years' time, maybe we should think about building him a statue. Do you know what I'm saying?
How much more he can achieve. Think about how much more he can achieve. He's a young captain and he's been winning trophies over the past couple of years. But Jordan Henderson, and let's be honest, he's most likely going to stay at Liverpool for the rest of his prime years at the very least. Just think of the ceiling that he's got left to win more trophies. I don't know his exact age, but 29, 30. Mate, you're fitting many more trophies into that trophy cabinet, and he might not only get just a Premier League trophy over Steven Gerrard, he might get 2 or 3 more than Steven Gerrard. He might get another Champions League, 1 more than what Steven Gerrard got, and maybe he won't ever be looked at in regards as the player that Steven Gerrard was, but people will respect what Jordan Henderson was more in hindsight, I feel, because we will even look at this season. Without Jordan Henderson, we got slapped by Aston Villa 7-2. Without Jordan Henderson, watch the first half against Brighton and watch the second when he came on. Different story. We lose that game against Brighton. There's so many games where you need to realise when Henderson isn't in that midfield is non-existent. And obviously, I don't know if that's a different story with Thiago, but Henderson's unreal, man. And people think I overrate him, but it's just not the case.
Do you know what's interesting with Henderson? There's this ability thing versus passion merchant. And do you know what I find? When you look at individuals who, I'll use this word, but I mean it, hate passion merchants, they tend to be people that will always claim that they're football fans first. And I've come to the conclusion that football fans first, they don't love a football club like you do, James, like Josh does, like I do, like Stroh does, all of us here. I put Man United above everything. So I want to see somebody who turns up for my club week in, week out. I would rather a 100% dedicated Scott McTominay over a half-arsed world-class player. I'm not even going to name one to trigger people. Like someone who's there every other week, because I want to see someone fight for my club. When you care about the football above your football club, I actually respect the fact that you want, it's all about ability for you. Look what Højbjerg has done to Tottenham's midfield so far this season. Højbjerg's gone in there and he ain't a star. Most of us went, okay, but he solidified things. He for a Jose Mourinho team. And a lot of people say, oh, you know, Spurs have shithoused their way to the top of the league. Jose's just doing what Jose does. This is what Jose had been made world famous for. We've just got this era now of football fans who all they care about is the techers, is the silks, is the skills, is the drag backs, the step overs, and the brilliance. And a prime example of that tonight, we saw an amazing goal from Podence tonight. The way he sat down those Chelsea defenders, he shot deflected and went in. 10 minutes before that, he had a bit of skill that went viral. And I'm sitting there going, why is that skill gone viral? He twined man up, but then lost the ball 3 seconds later. It's like the skill was irrelevant. But some people they don't care what happens after that skill. If he loses it, plays a bad pass, it was all about that skill and touch. If a man does a brilliant pirouette turn, you know, drops a shoulder, beats 2 men, and it goes to the ball out wide, and he whips the ball out and it goes out for a throw-in. I don't care about all the stuff that came before it. I'd rather him not done that and played a simple pass and we still have possession. Maybe that's just me. So I get what you're saying with Jordan Henderson. I do think he is criminally disrespected in the game. And I did a lot of work in the summer where we had the LFC day trippers on and they were telling me, watch this, watch that. And I've watched him a lot closer and you can see a difference in Liverpool when he plays. And the irony is that we've seen many players like him in the past in the Premier League, Gary Neville's and Vidic's and Roy Keane's to an extent. Roy Keane actually a lot more technically gifted than people give him credit for. And these guys, what got them through was their aggression and their passion and their leadership above their ability. But yet we love them We see Liverpool with it, and we all want to play it down and say it's not good enough. And I just think what it really comes down to is a bit of sour grapes that he's leading a brilliant team forward, and they just want to take it away from him. And I think, as O'Shea said, if he was Spanish and played in this same way, I think he'd be looked at as a baller. It's the fact
if his name was Jordan Henzo Nino, then he'd be sweet, wouldn't he, boys? But because it's a Jordan Henderson, people just think, oh well, all he does is pass it sideways, and he's not positive enough to be on the football pitch. Completely untrue.
I do hear that. We've got a few super chats here. Spurs will slap Liverpool.
Confidence.
Or cry. They will be. They are taking Jose lightly. That is what Nabil thinks there. We have another super chat here that says Liverpool don't lose at home. The game has 1-1 written all over it. Spurs have a higher chance at winning the league than winning at Liverpool. That's a big statement. But I almost think. Well, I don't know if I quite agree with that. Winning the league's very, very difficult. But yeah. I hear you on that. We're going to do a bit of fun now. We're going to do score predictions. Then we're going to go over and do the ranking, where we're going to start tiering. A lot of the commenters are saying, don't do the new one, do the old-fashioned ranking. So we've gone to the old-fashioned ranking system, which should be a little bit of fun. One go only allowed. Before we do that, we're going to do score predictions. Going to go to Ram first of all on this. What's the score going to be, mate?
I think it might be a 2-1. I think the main thing is the fans are back, and the added incentive. What happened? I think it was yesterday in the passing of Gerard Houllier. I think the fans and the players are going to be so galvanized. They're going to the team talk is going to be dominated by doing it for Gerard Houllier, who set the precedent for everything that's going to happen for Liverpool Football Club. So for me, it will be a 2-1 victory.
Ooh, confident. James?
I'm going to agree with that 2-1. I don't want to dispute the fact that Spurs can very much certainly get a goal, mate. Harry Kane and Heung-min Son are just on fire this season. And with the fact that we do, don't get me wrong, I love how Fabinho has stepped in. We're still unsure whether Matip's going to play this game. But even if he plays, I'm still worried about Kane and Son. So I'm not disputing that they can score. But it's just facts. Liverpool are going to be up for this game. It's a massive game. And they have that seed planted in their mind that they know in hindsight this could be a title decider, even though it's December. So 2-1 as well.
O'Shea?
Yeah, 2-0. Just simply because the last time we played Tottenham in a game when it really mattered, the Champions League final, I noticed that they seemed very quite afraid. You know, both teams seemed quite afraid in that match to kind of do anything. But I'm going off that, and also, you know, we're going to have most of the possession, and if we can kind of figure out a way to get back quick when they break on the counter attack, we can nullify Harry Kane and Son. So yeah, 2-0.
Stro?
2-1. Yeah,
2-1
for me.
Joshy, what you got with me?
3-1 Spurs.
3-1.
Wow. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
You were giving it in the group chat that you're worried about Liverpool Football Club. Where's this 3-1?
What did I say? I said that I'll always predict a Spurs win, and I always believe that my club. Look, if there's any revenge for the Champions League final, this is where it would have to happen. Like breaking your unbeaten run. I believe that we can do it. It's going to be hard. I wouldn't disrespect Liverpool. They're the hardest team to beat in this league, especially at home. But I think we can do it, innit? I do believe we can.
I like that. I like the confidence. I like that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? You know, when we were doing where we thought teams would finish at the beginning of the year, where did you say Liverpool were going to finish again?
Did I say third?
Nope.
Where did I say then?
You said fourth. And what happened 2 weeks after that?
I'll get my little book out. It's in my book. I wrote these down.
What happened 2 weeks after that? What? The Villa lot?
No.
No, didn't. Josh, you put Liverpool was first.
I'll let him.
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did.
I'm
written down in my book. It's all here.
I'm the mixed race Spurs fan, innit? There's too many other men on the channel. That's who I am, innit?
No, I was about to start. The exchange me and you had, because you were like, yeah, I underestimated Liverpool. I apologise, and I was about to bring that back up to you. So I was about to say, you've already made this mistake once. Don't make it again.
No, what? So you want me to predict a loss to my own team?
No. Do the sensible thing and take a draw. This is Anfield we're talking about.
I'll be completely honest. If you handed me a draw right now, I would take it. But I have to believe in my team, innit?
No, I respect that.
You know what? I will say this. I will say this about this game. I will say this. Whoever wins this match, I do think it sends out a massive statement in regards to the title challenge. You know, especially I think if we win it at home, with all the injuries we've had, that sends out a massive statement. And if Tottenham win it, they can beat our unbeaten record at Anfield, and Tottenham can win. That sends out a massive statement to Jose as well.
That I didn't mention, yeah. If we win, it's not just us like beating them in that one game. It sends out a message to the rest of the league that Anfield isn't invincible anymore. So it could actually turn the title race. But even if we don't win it, it would mean that Liverpool lose it to someone else.
Do you know? I said that earlier. A lot of the Chelsea fans I'm hoping it's a draw because they're thinking about both dropping points. I said honestly, if you want to stop, if anybody wants to win the league this year, barring Liverpool fans, you need Liverpool to lose tomorrow because you've got to see it's seeing how they react to losing. I think this is a much stronger club and team than Arsenal in 2004/5. But that game, Pizzagate, the 49th game unbeaten run, the way they lost, that's the beginning of the end for Arsenal. You can literally do your ducks in a row back to where they are now to that moment. They never, ever recovered from that. And what I love about teams that start seasons well or go on unbeaten runs, it's how do they respond to that first loss, to that defeat? Can they bounce back? So I want Tottenham to win, rivalry aside, purely to see the Liverpool response. Does that make sense? Like a social experiment. I really want to see. I personally think that you'll bounce back almost instantly and go back on another good home run because I think Jurgen Klopp's too strong. Unlike Wenger, who isn't a great manager, he never won back-to-back league titles or a Champions League. Klopp is in the category of great managers, so he'll do that. I'm going with a 2-2 draw, though. That being said, I think it'll be a draw tomorrow. There's an interesting chat here from someone that I need to address. Is Terry, you watch football for results, not entertainment? I would say yes, in the sense of I enjoy watching football, but the result, my team's result, is what's important to me. I don't think I watched football because this looks like a lot of fun. My dad watched it. I decided to pick a team. I picked Man United for my reasons, mainly because David Beckham went to my school, was born in the same hospital as me. That's why I picked Man United. And yeah, I do watch it for results. I mean, again, I suppose it's the football culture you grow up with. Going to football matches for me was about the day, being with my friends, the food before, having a few drinks, being the experience of singing. I would spend at Old Trafford, I would stand for the whole game and I would sing. And I would say I'd probably watch 20 minutes of the match tops because I was singing, arms around people, jumping around, actually quite a bit intoxicated. So football match days for me were not, I used to look forward to getting home and watching match of the day so I could actually see what happened. So yeah, the result was more important to me than entertainment because the whole day surrounding football. And even when I stopped going to games when I had children before the YouTube thing became a big thing for me, match days were what it was about. It was getting up. It was watching like Soccer AM, watching Grandstand, going out for breakfast with the kids, getting like the whole day was built around the football. It wasn't just about the 90 minutes and was I entertained. The whole day, the aftermath, the discussing, the debating, the ringing my dad, ringing my brother, that for me is what football is. It's more than just 90 minutes. So yeah, I am more about the results than the entertainment, which is why I care more about working hard, fighting for my team, dying for my team, running through brick walls, because I would do that for Man United. So I expect all my players to. So, and I'm not ashamed of that either. Like if people think that makes me uncultured, listen, I know that Zidane, forget stats, one of the greatest footballers ever. I know all these things. I don't need to be taught that, but I care more about, I love Michael Carrick as a footballer more than I love Zidane. Why? Because Michael Carrick won things for my club. I know some people like, Zidane's my favorite player of all time. I'm like, he didn't play for your club. It doesn't make sense to me. There's no player that I put up as my favorites. I think my top 20 players are all Man United players. Couple of English players in there, Gaza, Alan Shearer, etc. But it's because of what they did for me. Like everybody else, I respect and rate, but you're not in my top. Do you get what I'm saying? How good was Gerrard? I know how good Gerrard was. Man, ain't in my top 2,000. That guy gave me pain in my life, bro. Yeah. I don't like him, but it's normal. But then there's a new generation now of football fans that it's all about, I love Ronaldinho more than I love any Man United player. I find that weird, but that's cool, isn't it?
I think it's like trying to separate the list. So who's your personal favourites, and then like who's actually, like, if you're going to take all bias out of it, not even your personal, who's actually the best. And I think that's when a Ronaldinho and a Gerrard and all them get included into the conversation. But for me, I am not talking about Paul Scholes. I am not talking about Ryan Giggs. Cristiano Ronaldo can go and fuck himself. All of these players, I am not uttering one word about them because in my personal favourite list, they don't come close. I've got my own legends to put in that list, so I understand where you're coming from. But I also understand when like a young kid might see like, I don't know, a Ronaldinho and he sees all these crazy things that he's doing and he's mesmerised by it, and for that reason he gets that connection with the footballer. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think especially young people as well see that.
And I totally get that. I really do, and that's what I mean by everybody's football upbringing is different. Although my dad's a silly man. He was a Spurs fan and he had 5 boys that love football and he let us pick our own teams. Like my 3 kids, they got no choice. They are forced into everything. I spoke to my son earlier. My 6-year-old is playing FIFA. I said, what? He didn't want to show me the screen. I was like, why? He weren't playing with Man United. He knows he's getting told off. He's like, yeah, but I just want him to play. I want him to be. No, you play with your team only. I'm so horrible. But it's like, for me, that's how it should be. But listen, I respect everyone who's having different ways. We're going to do something fun now. We're going to do the player rate. We're going to do the player rankings, which is always a good little bit of fun. I'm going to pick who you guys get to pick and pull around as far as that's concerned. Where are we gone here? Have I got the right one? I don't know. Let me close that. There we go. There it is. Here we have it. It's going to be up on the screen in a few seconds. There it is here. You've got the Liverpool squad. You've got the main 11 and you've got the main Tottenham 11. I'm going to pick the players and give them out, and you're going to rank them. So you've got overrated, you've got dead, you've got better than most, balling, or GOAT. I'm going to be nice here and say we can have at least 2 players in GOAT. We can go to at least 2 players in GOAT if you want to, 1 from each team, maybe 2 from one team. So it's the best 2 players, the ballers, the best, the deads, the overrated. We're going to start off with Josh, and I'm going to be very kind, Josh, and I'm going to give you what I'm going to do, actually. Let me do this first. Harry Kane, Son. I'm looking for everybody. Salah's already there. Trent's already there. And Mane. Those 5 can't be touched until the end. But Josh, any Tottenham player you want, mate, outside of those 5 players.
Are we doing this? Are we doing this like based off what's happening right now? Like, is Van Dijk there and stuff, or is it?
Yeah, no? Van Dijk's not on there, so it's based on right now.
Right now, okay. And what, I have to pick my own teams? Not. No. I will pick you the team you're picking from. Then you can pick whichever player you want and put them wherever you want to go. Cool. Go on then.
So I'm going to give. What he said. I said I'd give you Tottenham. You got to pick someone from Tottenham.
Oh right, okay. I'm lost in it because usually you're like, oh, you give us a player and then we put them where we want. Do you know what I mean?
To see it. Tottenham already rattled by Liverpool. Love to see it.
What? So I just put a player where I want?
Yes, I'll make it easier. I'll pick the player then. It might be a bit quicker.
No, I've never done it this way before, innit? Sorry.
I'll pick the player. It's not a problem. I'll pick the player. I'm going to give you Eric Dyer.
This season better than most.
Okay, interesting. Stro, I'm going next. We're picking Liverpool first for you, and I'm going to give you Curtis Jones.
For me, he's been balling this season. He's been one of our best midfielders in the past couple of games.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's disagreeing with you on that one. I think that's pretty fair. I'm going to go to Ram next. I'm going to give you Tottenham, and I'm giving you Bergwijn. Oh my God, what a save! Sorry, what a save in the last minute there from Sam Johnson from a point, like the header from Raheem Sterling was 2 yards out. It's a goal. And Sam Johnson saved it. My God, I wish I could show clip.
Wait, is it a goal or is it not?
No, it's a save.
Okay,
okay. 1-1.
It's 1-1 still. It's crossed in. He's onside. He heads it 6 yards out. What a save! Fuck my boots.
I've never heard that one before.
I've never heard of that one before.
That's a Gordon Ramsay. I can't, but City are in the mud, you know. City are genuinely in the mud.
We broke City, mentally broken.
Oh, they're gone.
You know Pep Guardiola after this is going to be like, I need more players, more than you believe. More than you believe.
More than you believe.
Well, Pep's so stressed, his hair's growing back. That's what's mad about this, bro. It's gone the other way. Ram, so I'm going to give you Bergwijn. Where's he going?
Based on this season, it's between dead or better than most.
Just pick. Get off the fence. Get them splinters out your ass and pick.
It's going to be harsh, but I'm going to put him in dead. He hasn't been playing much, and he hasn't really been doing a lot. I think that right-hand side for Tottenham has been the weakest point of their incredible attack. So yeah,
I hear that. I'm going James next, and I'm going to give you Alisson.
Oh, mate, people are going to say I'm mad because he hasn't even played most. I'll say Baller, but he would be a goat. He would be if he played more. But because Arashika Casillas has had to step in, I'm going to just put him one below, but still a Baller. He's massive for us.
I hear that. We're going to go O'Shea next. You're going to have the Tottenham squad. I'm giving you Harry Winks.
I don't know. I don't know where to put him, to be honest with you. Better than most. He's not been... I don't really watch Tottenham a lot, but yeah, better than most.
There we go. My turn now. I'm going to the Liverpool squad. I'm picking Firmino. Sorry, Pete. I'm sticking him in dead this season. Man has been Firmino goals. He just can't score. Literally, if he fell into a barrel full of boobs, he'd come out sucking his thumb. 110%. It's terrible, honestly. You really, really would. Back with you, Josh. I'll give you Tottenham again. I'm going to give you Højbjerg.
Ooh. I really want to put him in GOAT, but I'm just going to have to just be balling. He's been so important to us. He's totally changed the way we play. Like he could feasibly be in GOAT.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I think he's been excellent this season and better than what most people thought he'd be. Stro, you're up next. You've got Liverpool again. I'm going to give you Genie.
Oh, balling. This man is so criminally underrated. And this will make David cry somewhere, wherever he is, because he absolutely has this agenda against Gini Wijnaldum. Gini Wijnaldum is one of our most important midfielders. So underrated.
Why do you think he's so underrated? What's the reason for that?
People don't really understand football and understand what he does. If you watch him, people always, when it comes to Gini Wijnaldum and Jordan Henderson and the midfielders, they go stats. You need eye test. What does he do off the ball? What does he do on the ball? He is the Manchester City game sums up everything to him as a midfielder for our team. Works his socks off, in and out of possession. The pressing, just everything that he does, he is so important to that midfield. And I'm praying to God that we get his contract extension done because he's that vital to us.
He plays two different roles as well. He plays a role, he plays an attacking role, a more advanced role for Netherlands, and then for us, he plays a more role where he's actually forced to hold back and not be playing them long string passes. So Gini Wijnaldum is underrated. I agree 100%.
Yeah, do you know what I find you said that it makes a lot of sense to me. You know what you're saying about how everything's about stats, and everyone knows I'm a stat man. I love a statistic. What I find interesting is when it comes to players like Genie, people that with a lack of football knowledge don't know the types of stats they should be looking for, so they don't look at one massive statistic for the deep lying midfielders. As an example, is how often they lose the ball per game and where they lose the ball. So. How often in a game are they losing the ball in their own half? How often are they dispossessed? How often are they losing the ball with their forward passes? Because these players are not generally making the cutting edge passes that are splitting the lines. They are the sort of the cartilage and the caveat between attack and defense. Their ball retention needs to be in the low to mid 90s at a bare minimum, and they can't be losing the ball in those deep lying areas just inside their own half, because it's where Liverpool have been so potent. They take the ball off people there, bang, they jump into the counter attack. So that's one area alone that you should be studying statistically how they're getting on. What are the defensive duels like? How many kind of defensive one-on-one duels against players are they winning? How often are they winning the ball back? Their interceptions, their recoveries. And what I find strange is people look at Genie and they compare his statistics of goals and assists to Bruno Fernandes. And I'm thinking, that's dumb. It's like comparing Bruno Fernandes' stats to Van Dijks. They just play different positions, but people go, no, the central midfielders, they should all be considered as central midfielders. And I just sort of sit there sometimes and it baffles me blind. And that's why I think people disregard, like, people, I like stats, like stat merchant, we care about stats. No, I like the eye test. But it's like with Xavi and Iniesta, no one cared about their goals and assists because that wasn't their job.
Terry, could you tell Dave that? Because he loves to rave about Kovacic and his lack of...
Ram, sorry to cut you off. Like, the thing that baffles me the most is, as much as I hated him, Ryan Giggs is one of the greatest Premier League players, right? Look at his stats in some of them seasons. You would be surprised. But what you don't realise is assists were recorded differently then. And he was always the one that was playing that killer pass to break the line. So he'd be playing the ball into Dwight York and Andy Cole, and they'd then slip it in behind. You don't understand how important that is, the job that he's done on that left-hand side, because you don't understand football properly. And that's what frustrates me with this Gini Wijnaldum thing. Is I don't care if he's not had an assist in the past 3 years. Who gives a flying fuck? He's picked up the Champions League and the Premier League. Like, your midfielder, come talk to Gini Wijnaldum.
Do you know what I think?
He's a big game player as well.
Just made though, Terry, before about how.
Sorry,
Yeah, no, sorry. You see the point you made there, Terry, as well, about, you can't compare Bruno Fernandes to Wijnaldum because they play different positions. I think you can even go deeper than that. And this is what annoys me when people say, oh, Firmino doesn't get goals. Look at Aguero, look at Harry Kane. Even though he's playing a number 9 role, Klopp is not saying to him, go out and get me 20 goals a season. And this is my defense of players like Bobby Firmino. Klopp does not say to Bobby, go out and get me 20 goals a season. Go out, I want you to be the target. He doesn't do that. So for me, this is why I can't entertain an argument when people talk about Firmino doesn't get goals. Look at Harry Kane, look at Aguero, when that isn't the job he was asked of. If Klopp actually went to Bobby and said, look, forget Mane and Salah, you go and get 20 goals a season. I don't know if he'd get 20, but he'd definitely get a lot more than he would. And yeah, I just wanted to make that point about Bobby.
And I get that. I think. Look, when I put Firmino in the category that I have done, that's because I've seen him miss sitter this season. So whether your main goal is scoring goals or not, when you're missing sitters and you're an attacking player, I think that deserves a level of criticism. But I do get your point. 2 years ago, I was saying that Firmino was the best number 9 in the league because the overall play for him was brilliant. I would even say he's build-up play. Anything else hasn't been as great. We're going to continue doing this, so I'm going to go to Stroh's not there. It's Ram. Anyway, Ram, I'm giving you the Tottenham squad, and I'm giving you Ndombele.
I'm not going to lie. This guy this season's been balling. He's when he first joined, he scored that wonder goal against Aston Villa, and then after that, he sort of petered away. But this season, he's really come out of his shell and he started to ball out. He's going to be a problem tomorrow, that's for sure.
Hear you on that. Back with James, going back to the Liverpool squad. I'm going to give you your guy, Jordan Henderson.
GOAT. If he doesn't play, then the team performance is different. Listen, mate, we don't play the same without Jordan Henderson. You watch Liverpool and then you will know what I am talking about. I am not chatting shit. I am giving you facts. He is huge. If he's not in that team, it's a different team. Honestly, mate, he deserves to be in GOAT. If any other Liverpool player deserves to be in that GOAT, then Jordan Henderson deserves to be in there. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? On that, yeah, you were just talking about Ndombele. The only time that Spurs have dropped any points this season is when Ndombele isn't on the pitch. So, like, that's another reason.
But Josh, if you think about it, Jordan Henderson's been doing it for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not comparing the two players.
Ndombele got better when Højbjerg came in. That's why I said Højbjerg had a shout in that conversation. Højbjerg came in and everyone else's performance is elevated. That's what Jordan Henderson is.
Yeah, no, I respect Jordan Henderson. I think that he's... I don't think he gets the respect he deserves, to be honest. I don't think he's that bad as well, technically. People act like he's a donkey. Like he's
it's mad. He's got ability as well.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, it's very, very strange. It really is strange, the way people talk about these players. As you say, they talk about these players and the way they react and everything else. I find it legitimately... staggering. I really, really do find it staggering. The disrespect for players that aren't the ballers in terms of the skills and techers, but the disregard of how important they are for a team. I find it mesmerizing, and it does show a lack of knowledge. O'Shea, you're next. I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna give you Liverpool, and I'm going to give you Firmino.
You already done for me.
Fabinho. Sorry.
You know what? Yeah, people are gonna get onto me in the comments for saying this. Go. He has to be. Man stepped up. Listen, when Van Dijk's back and fit, when Gomez is back and fit, he may not even get into the team. It may actually be Fabinho and Van Dijk partnering. Legitimately.
Hey, I've got to say something though, yeah. I've got to say something. Look at that. Look at the way the thing's set up right now, yeah. Look at the Tottenham players and look at the Liverpool players, yeah. So everyone's going to be balling and go, but this is a team that is level on points with Spurs and lost 7-2 to Aston Villa. Like I just don't think that you can really say with your hands up like that. That really.
Hendo never played that game against Villa. Hendo never played that game against Villa.
Our players are just that good.
Guys, what I want to remember, we can only have 2 players in GOAT.
That's what I was thinking, but I was
So this is
Hendo in there.
interesting. Remember, viewers that are tuning in, we pay homage to everyone that's done it before. It's £5 to move a player up or down one section, £20 to move them anywhere. And if you want to create a new category, you know what you have to pay. It's £50. For anyone who hasn't, the reason that we do that is we never started off by asking for any money. These donations were made by viewers. Somebody paid £5 that kind of move someone. Someone paid £50 that kind of create a new category. To pay respect to those people that did it off their own back. That's the standard of Super Chat you have to do to be able to make the same move. It's simple as that. So if you agree with the boys, you know what you've got to do. We're almost finishing the round.
I'm sure somebody will.
The viewers can get yourselves involved. I'm going to go to O'Shea's already been. I'm going to go next. I'm going with Tottenham. I'm going with Serge Aurier, and I'm putting him in completely overrated. I think he's one of the most average football players to play in the Premier League. Mistake waiting to happen. Not a bad cross. But overrated in my opinion.
This season, I have to disagree with you.
He's brilliant.
Yeah, this season, I think Aurier's been a baller this season. I think he's been massive for Tottenham.
100%. Jose has totally changed him. He's not making mistakes. He's got some of the best defensive stats of a right back this season. And even when he was dead and a mistake waiting to happen, he was only second to Trent as the most.
You're proving my point here. I think he's had some good moments. I don't think he looks shaky, and it's suddenly like, he's a baller now. I'm thinking, no, you're overrating him because he is a mistake. I actually said this when we did this exact same show at the weekend when I said he reminds me a bit of Kyle Walker. He's got those mistakes in him that Kyle Walker's gotten. Fortunately for Kyle Walker, he got away with it at the weekend because Rashford's toe was offside. If that hadn't been the case, you'd have given it away. That's what I see with Serge Aurier. But look, the viewers, you will get a trump card as well in a moment. So if you want to use your trump card, do. Back with you, Josh. Josh, I'm going to give you a Liverpool player this time. I'm going to give you. We're not going to pick. I'm going to give you Milner.
Look, I've got respect for him as a player, but I'd say this season dead. To be honest, I haven't seen him do that much. He's injured now anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
Look, the squad. He's a great squad player, but if we're talking about first 11s, he's dead for me. Do you know what I mean? That's it.
There we go. So you're up next. I'm giving you Tottenham. I'm giving you Toby.
Our best defender this season.
Paulie. He's been phenomenal at parts this season. He was shaky in the Everton game, and he's come back in. He's made some vital blocks at some crucial times. So, yeah, balling for me.
Stro watches us.
Ram, you're next. I'm giving you Liverpool. I'm giving you Matip.
I'll put him in better than most. The reason for that, I would have put him in balling, but the man, you can't trust him to be fit.
Pringles on steroids. It's mad. It's mad. Like when he plays, he's boss. That's the steroids kicking in, but he's Pringles. He snaps so easily, mate. It's mad. He might not even be fit for tomorrow.
Yeah, because he's having back spasms. Do you know what's mad? For the first time this season, it's the first time in 3 years he's played back-to-back Premier League games. And look what happened when he played back-to-back Premier League games. The man had a back spasm to go off the pitch. What him and Naby Keita made of? Like, it's driving me insane.
He is literally a human stick.
And you're
He's a
still
human
winning
stick.
leagues, man. You're still winning leagues when your signings like that.
The only one more injury prone than them is Oxlade-Chamberlain. I think Oxlade-Chamberlain isn't even playing for Liverpool anymore. I think they've just employed him as the YouTube manager for Liverpool's football channel. Because I don't even know, I don't even know what's going on with
Yeah,
him.
I'm not being funny though. When it comes to Oxlade-Chamberlain, if I had his misses, I would be injured and at home all the time as well, bro. Like,
Yeah, same.
you know, 100%. I'd be like, yeah, the back's hurting today. I had a headache. I mean, like the amount of sickies I'd be calling, it's unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? Because he looks all right when he was doing all them dance videos during lockdown. You know, he looked fine then. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, man. Like, go on, Perry. We're moving on. Remember, you can get your super chats in and make your contributions to this tiering system. We're going to go to James. James, I'm going to give you... No, we didn't. I just did James, didn't I? No, I did. No, I didn't. James.
No, yeah.
You're next, and I'm giving you Reguilon from Tottenham.
Oh, he's been a baller. Maybe people could disagree with me, but I think he's been one of the more outstanding left-backs this season. I think he's came in, he's made a statement. He actually looks like a proper left-back that's coming from one of the best clubs in the world, in Real Madrid. He doesn't just look like a reject that's coming from them. He looks solid. He looks brilliant going forward. He hasn't made many mistakes. I mean, I know he made one on the weekend, but other than that, he's been consistent. So, obviously, if we didn't have Robertson, I'd be putting him as probably maybe the best left back in the league this season. So
better than Ben Chilwell.
Yeah,
not even up for debate.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got the last pick before we go to the six big boys, and we're gonna go with Hugo Lloris. Where you putting him, bro?
You know what? Yeah, I want to put him in balling because you look at Tottenham's goal difference. Do you know what I'm saying? That's all I have to say. Like I think he's been good this season. I don't watch Tottenham enough to say week in, week out if he's making mistakes, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie. But
the man made a howl at the weekend.
I do think it's an error, but I also think that the defenders should have been there, man. He's seen it so late, so he has, honestly, like so late that like Dyer should have been there. Like I think that's a group mistake there, in my opinion.
There we go. Right, we're going to move on to the big boys now. I'm going to get this started. Who am I going to pick? It's just so hard because there's so many good players in there. They've all got an argument to being GOAT, you know, every single one of them. Tyrone here, the super chat says, Oxy's knees are made of biscuits. They are, bruv. Foxy's biscuits. They are, bruv. 100%. He definitely dunking something in Perry. Sorry. So I'm gonna pick my guy here, and I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pick Mo Salah, and I'm gonna put him in GOAT, and I'm gonna take out Fabinho down into For me, when it comes to Mo Salah, I even find Liverpool fans overly disrespectful to him.
Oh, it's disgusting.
He's been better in the Premier League in the last. Has he been back with you 4 years now?
3.
Okay,
he's into his fourth. Sorry, into his fourth.
What he's done so far as a Liverpool player is better than anything I like. Consistency has been better than the majority of wide or inside forwards of the last 10 years, and I'm including the Alexis Sanchez's and the Eden Hazards, who are all impeccably. I put Salah above those individuals on ability and on outputs and on the types of trophies that he went on to win as well. He is so consistent week in, week out. And even right now with Liverpool, you've got Mane that hasn't scored a Premier League goal in 2 months. He this season again is just scoring those goals and keeping yourselves in games. And I don't know why. I probably see a good 20-30% of Liverpool fans every game tweet, too greedy, pass more, set Mane out more. And I sit there and think, why when he's the best attacking player you've got? It's crazy. So for me, go 100%.
If he was Scouse, he'd be idolised. He'd be idolised if he was Scouse. He'd be probably the greatest player that this club's ever seen. If he was Scouse, probably people would maybe even put him above Gerrard in that regard because he's won trophies. But because he's Mo Salah, he's from wherever, and, you know, he comes in, he's greedy. He's got more assists than Mane. Like, you know, he isn't a greedy player. He's actually, don't get me wrong, he does have hints of selfishness sometimes, but isn't that what makes a player class? Isn't that what makes a player get you over the line from time to time? Don't get me wrong, he misses chances, but he's serious, Mo Salah. And you're right, Terry, Liverpool fans themselves, disrespect him. He's a legend already.
Yeah, I do find it very, very strange indeed the way I see people talk about him. I would love to have, we've got Rashi that's on the way to being very, very consistent. He's still very, very young, but I want a player that's doing what he's done over the last few years. It's almost a goal contribution for nearly every single game that he's played for you as a football club. It's like,
who's been a better player in the Premier League for the past 3 years? There is no better player than Salah, in my opinion. I think
it's probably only his teammates that can compete with him, like Van Dijk, in terms of I know the different positions, but yeah,
no, I agree. Next up, we'll go. Hang on a second. Hang on. Oh, look, here he is. Eye test is here again. What is it? He says, you are smoking stats again. Salah doesn't touch Hazard, not even a debate.
Right, behave yourself.
He knows nothing about football, man.
Again, but it's not even about. See, you didn't listen to what I said. I said on ability, on output, and on the level of trophies won. And the back-to-back season.
He calls himself eye test. Are you sure he hasn't got cataracts or something? Because I don't. Some of the stuff he comes out.
we call him the liar test because the guy's the liar. Do you know how funny this guy is, James? He rings a show up 3-4 times a week to slag off players he hates and says that he hates stats. But do you know what he does every time he slags a player off? Do you know how he proves he's right? He gives you their bad stats.
No, Terry.
That's bad at. So it'll say something like Rashford doesn't complete enough dribbles. I'm like, that's a stat, bro. He doesn't do this enough. Everything he does is a stat. It's amazing.
I'll tell you this, right? You talk about Adama Traore, yeah, and he said, "Oh, he could play as a striker because Wolves beat Chelsea because he Thiago Silva or whatever." I guarantee you say something like that.
They didn't do it. The way I look at it is that, like I said, Eden Hazard has certain elements to his game that are better than most Salah's, but overall, ability, outputs, trophies, consistency, that does it. Now, the next thing that makes Mo Salah a great in the Premier League is winning even more trophies, staying consistent, and then longevity. It's why I put Ryan Giggs at the tip of the iceberg. Not only did he last so long, it shows, and this is another someone said to me before, Mane is better than Ryan Giggs because I said, well, listen, he was a left midfielder versus an inside forward, so statistically there's differences. I said, but if Mo Salah can reach 35 and then become a midfielder that dominates in the Premier League and wins league titles as a central midfielder, then you can tell me he's a better football player than Ryan Giggs. Like, on a real level, to go from a left winger to a central midfielder is a hard thing to do. But again, that's where someone like the eye test will go, no, but Ryan Giggs is overrated because he only got 3 assists one season. I'm like, bro, I thought stats didn't matter. The guy's just a joker.
I saw the guy piping up about Wijnaldum, so the guy.
There we go. Anyway, we're going to continue with this now. We're going to go to Josh. Josh, you can pick any one of the remaining 5 you want. Can you see me there?
Yeah, I'm going to go. The thing is, because there's 2 players allowed in go, we might as well just put both Harry Kane and Son in go, both of them, because we know they're going in go. Do you know what I mean?
I'd love to know what you've been smoking before this.
I suppose on this season, can it be argued with this season? This season, could it be argued with?
This season? No, what's extra? No, I'm not having no disrespect. They are the best players in Europe this season. This season, the stats prove it. There is no players that are linking up better than them. Harry Kane has the most goal contributions in Europe at the moment.
Right. So you just said linking up together. So you're putting them 2 as one person in goal because Salah stays there.
Do you know what? I've just got it wrong. I thought it was 2 Tottenham players and 2 Liverpool players. But it's 2 players in total.
2 players in total.
Oh, okay.
So hence why, what have you been smoking before the stream?
I know it's late, Josh.
Well, I'm putting Son in go.
And who are you taking out? Salah or Hendo?
Salah, because he scored 5 penalties. Son has scored 1.
You're a mug.
And he's the Premier League top goal scorer right now, isn't he? So
I'm just happy he never took out Henderson. I'm just making me never took out Henderson.
Henderson has survived. You know, like when you used to watch Royal Rumble as a kid and you think my favourite, like he's still in
Little Rey Mysterio, he's still there. He's still there. He's there with Kane, he's there with The Undertaker, and Rey Mysterio's just there chilling in the corner, waiting for a 619, all these. He'll be sick.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now. Hendo's sitting there. You know, like when you do the X Factor, when they do the 6-chair challenge, and you've got that bang average singer that they don't kick off for the first 2 or 3, and you think, how's that person still there? That's Henderson sitting there. So we're going to go to Stro next. Stro, who are you picking out the final 4?
Give me Harry Kane.
Yep.
Put him in balling. He ain't going in goal. Henderson staying there.
I think Kane should be above Son in GOAT. I really do.
I do, but
That's why I picked Son to try and make you lot put Kane and GOAT as well. Do you know what I mean?
Kane
Because
I was never ever saying I'm loyal to the bone, baby. My Liverpool players are going there.
There we go. Ram.
You know what to do, Ram.
I'm gonna pick Robbo.
Where are you putting him?
Oh, this is hard. Whack him in GOAT.
For who?
serious, bro.
For who? For who?
Son.
Yeah, man.
Son.
Take out Son, put it in balling.
Robertson over Son. Oh
Yeah,
my
man.
word! We've got
I
super chat here.
love Robbo. Robbo, what
Yes,
Robertson's
bro.
done for us for the last 3 years, and what he's been our most consistent player this season.
He is clear as
People
the best
forget
fullback
that.
in the world, by the way.
People
Clear.
forget that. People forget how good this guy really, really is.
At every
Like all the goals that we've been conceding has been down that right hand side, barely through that left hand side. Robertson is the best fullback in the world. Period.
clear.
There we go. We've got the final two picks now. James, who are you picking, Trent or Mane?
Sadio Mane, running down the wing, Mane. Hey, go! Put him in there. Put him in the goal position. Take out Robbo, even though I love the Scottish man himself. Take out Robbo. Mane and Hendo deserve to be there. And put Robbo. Yeah, put him there, my mate. There we go.
Ball in. Final pick.
Right
For
where
you.
he belongs.
Final pick for you, O'Shea. And it's Trent. Where are you putting Trent?
Trent. Oof. You know
This
what? Yeah.
season.
It's why'd you have to say this season? Yeah, man. Trent.
I never even thought of this season for Mane.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
It's
Mane,
my goal.
42 months.
Yeah. Trent Alexander-Arnold. What is it you'd say, James? He's a little Scouse genius, that little Trent, isn't he? He's the best right back in the world. Yeah, Trent goes in better than most. He's better than most. This season he's been better than most. I don't think he's been balling this season.
Nah,
I don't
this
think
season
he's
he's
been
been
balling
below
this
par.
I think he's been better than most. I think he's still been better than most. I wouldn't call him dead. I wouldn't say because dead there isn't a section that says below par. It's just dead. I wouldn't say he's been dead this season.
Right. So, on this, so ladies and gentlemen, it's down to you now to get your super chat. £5 to move somebody up or down one category, £20 to move them anywhere you want. If you want to create your own tier, we have to ask that you make the same level donation that other people in the past have made of £50. Some have gone as crazy as £100 to put someone in a brand new category. No one else can touch them. Some of you have gone mad for this. Liverpool fans, you're going to back your players. Spurs fans, you're going to back. I know Liverpool have got a lot of rivals as well. We've already had a super chat come in. Already had one come in from Tyrone who says, I'm a Liverpool fan, but Kane has to go in GOAT over Hendo. 9, 10 assists. A Liverpool fan. Henderson out of GOAT for Harry the King Kane. Hendo out by his own fan. Tyrone. I love that, Tyrone. I love the honesty there, Tyrone. That's quality, mate.
Get me on this screen, Terry. I need to speak to Tyrone. Listen, Tyrone, a lot of respect for you. We love the same club and that. But how in the name of Sweet Nancy Francis have you just put him over Hendo this season? Hendo has been the man. There's no one above Hendo. Even my guy Sadio Mane, best player in the world. Hendo stays in that conversation. Harry who? Human what? Jordan Henderson doesn't move. Now I hope you've got another £5 to put him back there and correct the decision that you've just made.
Listen. Tottenham, mate. Arrow's for Tottenham. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, go. Yeah, Tyrone. Yeah, there we go. In disguise. But I mean, when I look at that, I mean, I just think on this season, I do think Son should be in there in front of Mane, shouldn't he? Really, Mane hasn't scored a goal in two.
No.
You got to look. Take your biases out of it for a second, because I will happily say that most of your players are balling over our players. Right? I was happy for you to put people in better than most and dead, and didn't argue when Sergio Aurier went in overrated, whatever. But the two best players in those squads this season are Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. They are
Nah, Hendo.
No.
You've got to put Hendo in there.
Robbo.
How?
What do you
Wait a
mean? How?
second. Have you not even? You just said the two best players have been Harry Kane and Son. Now I know Jota isn't in this list, but overall, you could argue that Jota's also up there as being one of the best players in the Premier League this season.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Hugo Lloris has been kicked out of balling and put in better than most.
That's harsh, man. That's
Yeah.
harsh.
That is harsh.
Is that £5?
Terry, how much is it to change the whole tier? As those Liverpool fans are annoying me. It's 50 British pounds, my brother. I don't want people doing things they can't afford, though. For a whole new tier, it's that, bro. That's what it is. I have to just say that's what it is, Jerome, my man. Matthew here just donated a £5. He didn't say anything, so I don't know what to do with that.
Liverpool fan, I'll move Henderson to go.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Matthew, you can send like a blank one through without paying again if you want to tell us. Sonaldo up instead of Mane. He hasn't scored a goal in 2 months. Spurs fans are coming out in defence of their football club here. And
Terrace, put me on the screen quickly.
That's it. That is it. I'm screenshotting that.
Liverpool fans, you came out and you backed us last time we were on this stream. Now is the time. Do not, I repeat, as Premier League champions, do not let us finish this stream with 2 Tottenham players as goal. It has to be Salah. Has to be Henderson. Has to be Mane.
Sam Burton has just put one in the pipe here. He's got one in the pipe. So Sonaldo stays even with another bid by somebody because someone's they're back. He's already in there and they've gone, no, another £5 just to keep him in that place. Spurs boys here. Sam Burton absolutely backing their team to the hilt. They really, really are. Danny here says that's correct. Finally, Man United fan got up Henderson and go. Oh,
there we go. What did I tell you? There we go.
Oh my God! There's still brains. And we've still got them. Is right, perfect, right, and that's absolutely correct. Let me tell you now. I think Harry Kane should be in there above Son, but Henderson needs to be in there 100%, no questions asked. And I'll have him above Mane, and you know that.
Look, no, I've got to say something, yeah? Look, I've got to say something. I'm not disrespecting Henderson. I totally get what you lot are saying. And I think he gets a lot of disrespect. He's not the type of player that's easy on the eye that you instantly would say, oh, he's one of the greatest players of all time, but he's so important to that Liverpool team. But it's moments like that Fulham chance, like where he you would have won the game if he put that away. Why this season he does not deserve to be in goal, in my opinion.
Nitpicking, my friend.
No,
You are.
Because if you took away Harry Kane and Son's goals, we would be nowhere. So that's why they're so important. They have to be in goal. They are the reason we're top of the table. Henderson isn't the reason you're top.
What about your defense?
Oh my God!
Don't dispute that. Do not dispute
Tyrone,
that.
no.
Tyrone has moved Kane back over Hendo.
This guy is trolling. He's not a Liverpool fan.
Tyrone, you're taking the piss.
Oh no! Harry Kane has been moved to overrated by Philip Hunt. He's moved to overrated.
What did I say? Liverpool fans, come out.
The Jurgen Klopp punches.
I'm not going to lie. Elite, that is banter. That is absolutely banter. Spurs haven't won.
I just want to finish. I just want to finish the point that I was making before about the Henderson and the Kane and all that. You mentioned about without Kane and Son, you wouldn't be nowhere this season. Well, get on this. In a Liverpool team filled with injuries, without Jordan Henderson, we'd be nowhere near you. But because he's in that midfield, we've been able to stay in that title race. You talk about games. You talk about a chance against Fulham. If Henderson doesn't play in that game, there's no leadership in that midfield. We don't even have a chance to go and win that game. I understand. He's got to take. I understand. He's got to take them big moments. I get that. But one thing you need to get is if he's not in that team, we don't flow. Do you know the fluidity of our team doesn't work without Jordan Henderson?
All right, guys, just 1 second here. So Maria Williams has come in and says, "Out, my boy came back in. Go. Can only move up 1 for the £5, but." Jerome's coming here with 20, and he says, "Put Harry Kane back in, go and stop."
Can only do one.
Can only move 1 in relation to that, but Harry Kane has now been moved back into that category. We've had more come in as well. What's going on? Mane down to better than most. Mane's being removed. Mane's been put down by the viewers here. He moved down to better than most this season. We've got a few more to go into here as well. I see another one come through a minute ago. Put Hendo back, LFC fan. So Hendo's back up now, and that is Son. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one because Son's still got one in the pipe. You didn't say for who. But then Maria, I'm going to leave all three of them in there for now because that's where it is. We're equaled out money-wise. Everyone's putting money in for that. So that's where we currently find ourselves. Do you know what? It's mad, right? I think that all these players, like all three that are in GOAT right now, have been very good for their teams this season and very important for their teams. There's been no doubt about that. I actually think Mane this season is where he should be. He's been better than most. I don't think he's been balling or GOAT this year, in my opinion. But it's one of them ones for me. I think that's about fair where everybody is right now, to be honest. Maybe Serge Aurier a little bit disrespectful being there. But it's one of the. I wanted to ask the Liverpool fans a question, though. Do you feel like you need to refresh some of your star players, maybe at the end of this season, maybe a Mane, maybe a Salah, Firmino, somebody to leave for big money and then reinvest that in a Sancho, Mbappe? Does something like that need to happen?
Yeah, I do think it does need to happen. I do think it does need to happen. A lot of people disagree with me on this one, but I've said, look, as much as I love Salah, and I think he's better than Mane in terms of goals, if the possibility of us potentially signing a Kylian Mbappe, and I'd only do this for Kylian Mbappe, not for Sancho, not for Haaland, not for anyone, but if the possibility of us signing Mbappe is real, and Salah is someone comes in for Salah for like 120, 130 million, and that can go towards us signing Mbappe, I think that needs to happen. As much as I love Salah, he's 28 years old, and I think in terms of goals, he's definitely better than Mane, but Mane, I think, does more off the ball as well. And if it means someone like Mbappe could come in, who not just is going to be a future Ballon d'Or winner, he's not only someone that's going to pick up the mantelpiece to Ronaldo and Messi, but the money that he brings into Liverpool as well. The money his shirts bring into Liverpool as well. For me, I'd happily do that.
I hear that. Jerome here has put Son. He's paid 20 just to keep Son in GOAT no matter what goes on. He is backing his boy here massively, absolutely massively. I get that. James, what about yourself? Do you think that the fresh blood's needed?
Absolutely not. You don't fix what's not broken, and I wouldn't. And I don't think people are wrong for saying this, but I wouldn't take Mbappe over Salah. I actually wouldn't. And people are going to say I'm deluded for that. And James, if you were behind closed doors and you got offered that deal, you'd take it. I wouldn't. I think Mbappe's phenomenal, a phenomenal talent. What he's done so far in his career is you can't say no, mate. What's that?
I know who that is. Terry. Why? Why?
Who's that taking the piss?
That's my. I know. I don't know who did it.
I know who it is, man.
Boom. Hendo's gone down to overrated.
Terry, you're.
Terry, have you got a place for that?
Have I what?
You've got a place for that nonsense. Are you crazy? That's insane. Oh, Jordan Henderson overrated, the lowest category of them all.
It's where he's been moved to. It's not my fault. Somebody put the super chat in. I don't know. We've got a few people that have access to that Football Terrace Clips account.
Really? Okay.
Wait, Terry. I want names instantly.
Yeah, I want names, addresses. I want all of it, mate.
Oh, I don't.
On what you lot were saying before.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, no, sorry, my thing's delayed.
Yeah.
There we go.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think Salah's better than Mbappe. I don't think that you should be trading in Salah for Mbappe at this point, because in the Premier League, I guarantee you Mbappe won't have the same record that Salah does, in my opinion.
Yeah, do you know there's always that risk, isn't there? If you the fixing what's not broken, but then there's also understanding when it needs to change, and I think that's what Klopp's got to get right. I gave this example the other day. When Man United got rid of Paul Ince, Kanchelskis, and Mark Hughes, they got it absolutely right. Equally, we actually, more because of the Glazers, we held on to Rio, Vidic, Evra, these guys too long, and we should have cashed in on them 2 or 3 years before they were past a year or so maybe before they were past their best. And then it gives you longer to bleed people in, but you end up sticking with the old guard until it's a little bit too late. And I think your guys have got another year, maybe 2 years, maybe I think maybe 2 seasons, and then I think he's got to look at it.
I think it's just because we've had these injuries and our season's not looking as good as it could be. But if we had Thiago in that team and Diogo Jota fit and all these players just kind of gelling well together, people would be saying, make this Liverpool team. Like, I think we'd have a better team than last year. And that's saying something how good last year.
James, I think what you need to look at.
I think it's a different level. So I think if you're talking about the end of this season, I don't think you sell anyone. Maybe in a year after, I might think differently. Maybe Salah might drop off. But right now, I don't really want to see any mega changes.
What you need to look at, James, what you need to look at is the most important thing for me, and this is why I said what I said before, was as great as Salah and Mane and all these guys are, they're 28 pushing 29. How long are we going to get 120 million for Salah? Because as great as he is, nobody's going to pay 120 million for a 30-year-old because it's just not a good investment.
There's not many players that are going to get the goals that Salah do. That's what you've just got to understand. Can Mbappe come from League One, which he's struggling in this season, by the way, and can he come in next year into a Liverpool team and insert his dominance like what Salah has been doing?
But I think it's fair to say that we all know. I know none of us can read the future. I know none of us can read the future.
So nice until you see what he can do for you, and I know what
James, I know none of us can read the future. But I think it's fair to say that Mbappe is probably going to take up the mantelpiece to Ronaldo and Messi. He's probably going to win more than one Ballon d'Or in his career. He's probably going to go on to be considered one of the greatest of all time. There's some players you can just see it, and Mbappe for me is that player. You just know he's going to do that. You know, above Haaland, in my opinion.
People thought that about Neymar.
I get that. I want to change the subject slightly here before we end this. Last subject I want to discuss. Harry Kane. Is he the best number 9 in world football right now?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Lewandowski is. Lewandowski by far.
Okay, so first of all, Ram, why is he not?
I think he's definitely top three. But for me,
Who's
Levy's got to be top, because what he's done with Bayern Munich and the consistency that he's been doing it for the last 6, not even, you could go even further, 10 seasons, what he's done with Borussia Dortmund, like that consistency that he's been doing, he's got to be top for me. And he just came off a record-breaking season with last season, where I think he was top goal scorer. He's got the highest goals in Champions League alongside Ronaldo, I think with 16 goals, which is just stupid. Completely stupid. And he's the typical all-round striker. Like he's got a little bit of pace. He's very technical, he's very skillful, and he's very good at bringing other players into play. I think the all-round striker for me, Levy, I think he's untouchable for now. But Kane is close.
Josh, you say he is. Why now is he the best in the world?
I just think that people underestimate the fact that I know Tottenham's been looked at as a good team for the past few years, like a good team, but no one's seen us as winners. Bayern Munich are winners, and that's where Lewandowski's been plying his trade, isn't it? He's been playing in a team that is built to win, where he is going to have so many chances put on a plate for him. Look at the stuff that Kane's feeding off, even now while we're playing defensive football. He's having 1 or 2 chances a game. And he's managing to get stats. Do you know what I mean? He's getting assists, getting goals. And I just think if you put Kane in that Bayern team, he will perform to at least the same level, maybe even more. I think Kane's a better passer than Lewandowski. I'm not saying Lewandowski's a bad passer, but Kane's a better passer. He's levels on finishing, levels on every other category. And they are similar players, to be honest. But I think Kane just has that little bit extra, and the fact that he's been carrying a team for so long. If you put him in a team like Bayern, that he would perform to a better level, I think, in my opinion.
James, you said that he was as well. Like, what is it about Harry Kane right now? Is it just the level of output, or just the consistency over the last 5-6 years?
If we're talking, listen, mate, I think if we're talking about this season, and not only this season, if we're talking about overall, then maybe like it's not as convincing of me saying Harry Kane. But this season, I think we've seen that Harry Kane is one who can not only get better season on season, but he can overcome adversity. He can come back from the countless injuries that he has, and he's still, you know, the question that people have, will he be one of the best English strikers that we've ever seen? That question just keeps getting brought back up every few years because he keeps putting himself in that conversation. People thought a few years ago, nah, Harry Kane, he's not even going to be in the conversation no more because he gets too many injuries. No, he comes back and he comes back a better player. And obviously you mentioned about the well-roundedness, and Lewandowski is brilliant in terms of his all-round game. But this is where you've just got to bring in stats again. However many goals and assists this season, with the level that Harry Kane has been putting in, he's putting in a mixture of a Lewandowski and a De Bruyne into one. And they're two players that I love a little gel, you know what I mean? And that's what Harry Kane's doing this season. And I don't even agree with the point that if he goes into a Bayern Munich team, he shines more than Lewandowski. I think that's why Bayern Munich, they've got that many great players, great, individuals, that he'll probably actually shadow Harry Kane a little bit more. That being said, he'd still be world class. And if I can only go off what I've seen this season, Harry Kane, it is for me, mate. I take him at Liverpool, no questions asked. He's just another level. And you can see that he's a winner and he wants to win.
Yeah, he is. You get players like him every now and then. And, Man United have got that with Bruno Fernandes. He's just on that. And it isn't all about who is the most technically gifted. I'm not even bothered about that. It's just the winning mentality, the outputs, the technical ability is on. This season, just look at just in the Premier League, 9 goals and 10 assists in 12 games is astronomical.
Mad.
In a joke attack.
Yeah,
One question you have to ask yourself though is if Lewandowski was to join Spurs in the summer, would Harry Kane start week in, week out? And I don't think he would, and that's for me why Lewandowski is still the number one.
No, they'll play together.
Wait. Can I just make it right? So this is where you need a little segment where O'Shea's thoughts are O'Shea's thoughts and nobody else's. Because I've got mad love for you, bro, but let's be honest. If Lewandowski went into that Spurs team, Harry Kane starts 100% because what no one's mentioned yet is his football IQ. He knows what position to pick up on the pitch to create space for the likes of Son. So this is what Firmino was doing back in 17-18. He was picking up them positions, and which is why he was then labelled the best number 9 in the world at one point. Harry Kane, for me, this season, 100% is the best number 9 in the world. Look at his output. It's a joke in a team which everyone said is parking the bus.
Look, Stro, I agree with what you're saying. I agree with all your points, Stro. I do, and I agree that his positional part of his game this season has been phenomenal. He's shown that he's got more strings to his bow. But Lewandowski isn't just a guy that's getting 20 goals or 30 goals. He got 51 goals last season. We've only ever seen 2 players get those levels, and that's Ronaldo and Messi. And we call them the greatest of all time. So if Lewandowski is picking up those numbers, you can't just... This is a guy that probably would have won the Ballon d'Or if it had it not been cancelled. It's 51 goals last season. That is a joke. That is a joke.
Hang on.
Last time Kane was fit for a full season, for a full year, he outscored Ronaldo and Messi. I think it was the year 2017. That's when he was fit the whole year. He did outscore both of them. So I'm just saying, when he doesn't have a 3-month injury, he can perform to those levels as well.
On that point that Stro made, I think that's a little bit disingenuous on Lewandowski's part because I've seen the guy play with Bayern with the likes of Gnabry and Sane. The guy's movement off the ball, the way he makes space for Gnabry and Sane, his link-up play with Gnabry and Sane is second to none. You forget how intelligent this guy is as a striker and what he knows and what he wants. Hansi Flick, what Hansi Flick wants of him, and I think that's why for me he's just the all-round, the complete striker.
2 things. 1, don't say I'm being disingenuous because I'm not. Secondly, is when I say what I'm saying, it's based on Premier League experience. Lewandowski has 0 Premier League experience.
But it's hard to say that but when you think about it, Lewandowski was one of the main people that dethroned that Bayern Munich side when Klopp was there, and he's showing those signs when he was at Dortmund.
No, I think the one thing I'd say about his argument to round it up is he's definitely the best in the Premier League then.
Yeah.
So, which I think is fair for him. And I think he's done a great job of doing that because he's been underrated since day one. Final super chat says Liverpool should sell Naby Keita or Keita. I've heard it pronounced both ways. Oxlade-Chamberlain, Shaqiri. They are always injured. And it's testing our squad depth. Origi should go in the summer. Man like Origi, one of my old clients, lovely bloke. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. James, O'Shea, Josh, Stro, Man like Ram, thank you all for coming on. Everyone who's put in a super chat, we know how much we appreciate the donations here. Back tomorrow morning. We'll be doing a match review for the Man City. I'm not even doing a match review for Man City. I thought they'd win tonight. That's why I planned this show at this time. It would have been huge to have done a match review. City are dead, bruv. I told everybody a year ago, Pep don't want to be there anymore. Man signed a new deal for severance pay, bruv. He's getting sacked. Literally, in the last 12 months, they are worse than Man United. But yet the papers are picking up on it, bruv. I even guarantee you now, if I go to the back of 4 or 5 big newspapers, it won't even be held to a shock. The word Pep's name isn't even mentioned in the headline. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy.
It'll be Chelsea. It'll be Chelsea, Terry. It'll be Chelsea's.
Yeah, I said this in the group chat, though. This is the thing, though. This is what annoys me. I said this in the group chat. I said to many people, I don't know if Straw or Josh have had this argument with me. I know they might have seen it, but I said this to other people. City are going to unravel. And this is what's happened. I got called an idiot for saying it. No, that's never going to happen. Pep is one of the greatest of all time. They've got a great... I said they're going to unravel. And this is what's happened.
I said it. I've been on the football Terrace for the past 7 months saying that Pep Guardiola lost more Premier League games than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer last year, but that wasn't talked about. Why isn't it talked about? Because he's at Manchester City, who are a non-existent club with non-existent history apart from the last 15 years.
They've got no fans that are making there's no social media presence from City that are like calling for Pep's head or anything, so you don't hear about it. Do you know what I mean?
The only semblance of a leader that was left at City last season was David Silva, and he's gone.
Yeah.
The only semblance of a leader, man. You can tell you just got back from uni, innit, bro? Do you know what I mean? Man's coming out with a semblance. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
I've said this about Pep Guardiola before, though. I said he's a fraud, and people have laughed at me. I said, look, whenever he's been under pressure by another team, look what's happened. In 18-19, when we pushed City to the league, and actually we were first until the last game of the season, we lost that because of us, not because City were just better than us. As soon as we put them under pressure, in 17-18, we were the first team to beat them, and we knocked them out the Champions League. We put them under pressure in 18-19 and took them to the last game of the season, and in the next season, they finished 18 points behind us. As soon as this man gets under pressure by any other club or any other team, he unravels, and this is what's happening at Manchester City. For me, Pep is a fraud. I can't knock what he did at Barcelona, but he's very overrated in giving. When you look at what he's been given in his career and what he's achieved, he didn't win the Champions League at Bayern Munich. He should have won the Champions League at City a long time ago. For me, he's highly overrated as a manager. Great coach, but as a manager, he's overrated.
We'll be discussing this first thing in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. So it depends how early you get up. I'm up at 6 a.m. minimum every day. So I'll be live streaming first thing in the morning, covering Pep and a disaster that's going on there right now. Listen, James, Stro, everybody that's come on, Josh, O'Shea, Ram, thank you very much. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.